students. Today we are going to learn our new chapter. That is chapter number 9, Force and Laws of Motions. Now, what causes motion? If you look at these pictures, I want to ask you, what causes motion? Can you see in this picture? The horse and cart, they are moving, right? So they are in motion. And in second picture, the ball which is being played, that is the game of the soccer. The football is going on and ball is in motion. Okay. So here you can see the train is also in motion, right? So the question is, what causes motion? So students, can you tell me? Okay. So we know in physics we are being studying the chapter motion and what causing motion. So the answer is force. So here the horse is applying the force and the soccer player is also applying the force on this ball and the engine of the train is applying the force on the train. So here the force is involved, that is causing the motion. Now which brings the next questions. How can we define the force? Or if I ask you, what is force? So if you look at the pictures, here can we come up to the simple definition about force. What is force? In the picture, the person is pushing the stack of hay. So he is pushing the roll of stack. So he is applying here a push. Hence he is applying a push. Similarly, if you can see that horse picture, this horse is moving the cart, or basically the horse is pulling the cart. So here also the hare is applying the pull on the cart. So from this, the definition of the force in physics is very simple. It is either a push or pull. So the force is defined as the push or a pull, as you can see in the image. Or we can say force is an external effort which may move a body at a rest or stop a moving body, or change the speed of a moving body, or change the direction of a moving body, or the shape and size of the body. There are forces in our day-to-day lives. So can you tell what effect the force have? First, force can move a body at rest. So it can set a stationary object into a motion. So let's see this. If a ball is a stationary, we have stationary ball here, not moving. So stationary means ball is at rest and we apply a force on the ball. So we can set the ball into the motion. As we can discuss, the force causes the motion. So we can say it is an effect of a force. Now second, we can stop a moving object. So let imagine the ball is moving. So with the help of we can stop the ball. So this is also an effect of force. Third, there is an change in the speed of a moving body. So when person hits the ball while you are playing the tennis, the racket you hit on the moving ball, it increases its speed or you can decreases the speed. It is totally depending on your shot. So you can change the speed of a moving object by applying the force. Force can also change the direction of a moving body. Then last, force can change the dimension as well as the shape and size of the body. Let us assume if you have a softball, you know that when you press it, it can change the dimension of the ball. Now students, let me ask you, is force a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? Now first let us understand what do these terms means, right? So the scalar quantity means it has only magnitude or value, but it does not have direction. That means a scalar quantity. For example, if I am say time 20 seconds, which is a scalar quantity, because 20 seconds is a value but it has no direction. So it is an example of the scalar quantity. Now, what is the meaning of the vector quantity? Vector quantity means something which has both magnitude and a direction. So the example of this is similarly mass, it has 5 kg. It has also no direction. So what about the vector quantity? It denotes velocity 20 minutes per second. As you can say, car is moving 20 minutes per second in the north direction. So we can say vector quantity has both value and direction. So definitely force is a value or a magnitude, because in the previous we have seen that the boy is pushing a hay of stick with a force or with a certain value. Similarly, the horse is pulling a cart with a certain value of force. The horse force is a stronger than a man, so it is double. So definitely it also has a value. So from this we can say that force is a vector quantity, because the force has both the value and direction. If you apply the force, you can specify the direction. So this is all about the force. Now, balanced and unbalanced force. These forces are occur in pairs and they can be either balanced or unbalanced. Now, what is balanced force? Balanced force is equal force acting on one object in the opposite direction. They do not change the object's motion. Now, from the image you can see, you assume that a one man pushes the box from one side with the force F, and at the same time the another man also pushed the same box from the opposite side with the same force F. Will this box move? No. Box will not change the position. This is because forces on both the sides are equal. So such a force is called balanced force and do not change the state of rest or of motion of an object. So you can define it as forces of equal magnitude are applied in opposite directions. Here are the examples of the balanced force. Here a person is standing. There are two forces acting on him. The floor is pushing the boy upwards, as you can see in the image, and the gravity is pulling the boy downwards. And both the forces are equal. That is, they are balanced. That is why the boy is in a standing position. So in the case of balanced force, equal and opposite forces are acting in an opposite direction. In case of balanced forces, there will be no movement at all. So this is about the balanced force. Now come to the next topic, that is unbalanced force. Now what is unbalanced force? Now consider the another case. Here you can see in the figure, there is a man alone applies the forces on the box. So here does the box moves? Yes. This is because force applied by John is the only force acting upon the box. Such forces are called unbalanced force. Or unbalanced force is defined as force of different magnitude. Unbalanced forces allows acceleration and hence provide motion of an object. In an unbalanced forces, motion of an object is always towards the greater forces. So unbalanced forces can cause objects to speed up, slow down, stop or change the direction. When the net force of an object is not zero, the forces on the objects are unbalanced. So unbalanced force always causes a change in the motion. Now the examples of unbalanced force. Here you can see in the image there is a tug of war. In this, if the force is applied by persons on both the sides is the same or equal, the rope will not move. The rope will move only when the force is applied more by one side of the tail than the other. That means unbalanced forces are there. So, unbalanced forces are not equal in size and always cause movement and can be in the same or opposite direction. Now this is about the balanced force and unbalanced force. Now come to our next topic, that is difference between balanced force and unbalanced force. Balanced force is the force that exert on the object are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. But unbalanced force applied on the object are unequal in magnitude. Here in the balanced force, net force is 0. But in unbalanced force, net force is not 0. In balanced force, the body will be at rest. But in unbalanced force, it makes the body moves. Balanced force does not change the state of rest or of motion of an object. But unbalanced force change the state of rest or motion of an object. Now come to next topic, that is friction force. As you can see in the image, force that opposes the motion of an object when the object is in contact with another object or surface is called frictional force. It also slows down or stops the motion of an object. So it is called a friction force. The Here you can see the example of friction force. In this image, the man is required large force to move a heavy box because friction opposes the motion. Once they applied force is greater than the frictional force, so the object will move. Now this is another example of friction. Dear students, when a ball is kicked, you must have observed that ball is rolled for a while with a gradually decreasing speed. At an instant, the rolling of the ball stops. Here the question definitely arises that why doesn't a ball keep on moving? How does it stop automatically? This means that definitely there is something or there is some force which opposes the rolling of ball due to which the ball stops. So this force is called as frictional force. Therefore, the frictional force is defined as an opposite force exerted by the surface on which the objects move. Thank you.